So that was a good prediction. In my last video I said we should be getting the final trailer for Skeleton Crew in a couple of days, and well, it came sooner than expected. What a fun way to kick off the 1st of November. This trailer, which is the second one we've received, the first one was at D23 over the summer, is much different in tone. The first one had a more mysterious allure to it. This one is full on Goonies, meets Indiana Jones, meets Solo, a Star Wars story. Of all things, I was really impressed. The cinematography looks fantastic. I'm so excited to go to various worlds with different terrains and landscapes. And above all else, it's good to hear Jude Law's character Jod Narnar do some talking. But we need to get one thing out the way. A couple of the leaks that we covered seem to be true, or at least the gist. Do you guys remember a couple of weeks ago, I covered a report that supposedly had the plot for the show, and this trailer does everything but debunk them. More on this later on, because I don't want to spoil it if you don't want spoilers. But let's dive into the trailer itself. Earlier this week, Jude Law gave an interview with Variety.com, and in there he was talking about, while there are some reports that we might be getting a second season if the first one performs well, he doesn't think so based on the kids' ages, because he said, you leave a little bit of time, and the kids have already grown a few inches. And the first season of the show, everything Jon Watts and Chris Ford have worked on relies on them being middle school aged. And the trailer begins with Fern, that's this character, and Wim, that's this character, in detention at school on the planet at Atin. Now here's the thing, some of the rumours said their planet is a secret, closed off from most of the galaxy. Some have heard about it, and its location is something that both the current New Republic government as well as the Remnant is very curious about. But something which hasn't been mentioned is the kids, their parents, the region they're from is very affluent. And as a result, the kids are quite naive. They've been living in a bubble. So when they go outside of that, when they come across the sinister backworlds, the murky, underground, seedy, dark, grimy depths of the galaxy, they're not ready to deal with those kinds of people and how brutal they can be. And something the trailer confirms is that when they get lost in space, their parents and those on their planet are worried about them, and everyone outside is intrigued. For whatever reason, being a closed-off world, they use Old Republic credits, which makes them a target. To the black market and smuggling circuits, Old Republic credits were very valuable during these times. They've drawn in the wrong kind of attention. This is something the rumours mentioned. They were isolated from many of the events post-Endor, and they still kind of function in isolation of the galactic politics of the New Republic. But even earlier than that, it looks like they resisted the Empire's reign. There is more to the planet than we think. There is a secret there, and this is why Jude Law's character is very interesting. A Force-sensitive Jedi turned pirate, using the excuse of helping the kids find their way home for his own payday, because he overhears the conversation at the food market between the vendor and the kids when it's time to pay up, and he finds out they use Old Republic credits, which means they're from a system or a planet which is sought after either by the New Republic, the Imperial Remnant, pirates, or all three. The action in this trailer looks really fun. There's a lot of world building. It's also really nice to see Neil get the spotlight. He's got to pilot the ship, the Onyx Cinder. The pacing and some of the visuals is very Temple of Doom, and I've got to say when it comes to Jaleel White and his pirate crew, they look way more impressive in this trailer than they did in the promotional photos. Those are more or less my impressions of the new trailer. To accompany this, we also have an 80s looking poster, which showcases the characters, and StarWars.com did an interesting write-up, and they said this: a crew of mysterious pirates is coming, but we can't stop watching the latest Skeleton Crew trailer. The driving beat of a synth pop track perfectly captures the joyful adventure ahead, introducing strange new aliens, thrilling space battles, and never-before-seen worlds. So that's crucial because I've already seen some theorizing of familiar planets, but they might look similar, they're not. We cannot wait to explore. The series, created by Spider-Man Homecoming director Jon Watts and writer Chris Ford, who also serve as showrunners, follows along as Wim, Fern, KB, and Neil get lost in this wonderfully strange and dangerous galaxy. Luckily, Jod Narnar, which is Jude Law, is here to help. But as we know from Jude himself, we cannot trust him. And given the rumours and leaks which I've spoken about in great depth, it doesn't seem like he's in it for the kids, and out of some charitable will to help them. He's in it for his own skin. We don't know his wider allegiances. He tells the children, I'll help get you home, we'll make a partnership. But this shot, right here, of him overhearing about the Old Republic credits is the biggest hint. The show is going to incorporate pirate ports, booby traps, hidden treasure, and massive, tentacled aliens. And those are just a few of the obstacles between the 4 young travelers and their goal. As Neil points out, they're lost. They're really, really lost. And who can forget the Star Wars droid version of Smee, SM-33, voiced by Nick Frost, the first mate of the Onyx Cinder. His backstory is interesting and goes back well before the time period of post-Return of the Jedi. And while we await Andor Season 2, SM-33 certainly has a K2SO vibe about him. He's going to bring some comic relief. I don't know if you guys remember this, but when the first trailer released, I said, this feels so detached from other Star Wars shows. There's almost no way they can get this wrong. And I stand by that, but with a bit more enthusiasm, because now I'm thinking, it's almost got a Spy Kids feel, just thinking back to my own childhood. Young heroes on a grand adventure. Skeleton Crew is focusing on the way they perceive the galaxy. So while we come across familiar aliens, maybe a few familiar faces, it's all from the narrative perspective of these kids being out of their depth in a dangerous world. At one point in the new trailer, we hear the kids talk about having to stick together. So in that regard, they're going to have to make tough choices. There's going to be fallouts, arguments, but as a coming of age, they're going to have to stick together, learn about friendship, maybe learn lessons about trust. And in the process, I think fans are going to grow to love these characters. But also, and don't forget this, what goes wrong when you're being naive? Whipping out Old Republic credits, which work on your world, but not outside of that system. And that to me is the most fascinating aspect of where they come from, and how maybe their parents didn't tell them how valuable information about their world is. Are they inviting trouble to their home planet? There's something ironic about the way Wim's dad talks about, they're not going to come back here to us, we've got to help them. I think the kids have invited more trouble than they realise. And Jude Law's character, this unexpected mentor with his own ulterior motives. Where is that thread going to lead? Not just in the context of this story, but in the Mandoverse more generally. And I say that because, as I spoke about the other day, some new photos show we're going to come across the ancient language of the Sith. Is it just an Easter egg? Is it just for show? Is it so that we can all do the Leonardo DiCaprio meme? Or is there more to it? But I think the show has found balance between serious Star Wars and a sense of humour amidst all of this danger. Very excited. This trailer definitely feels different to the first, and that was something else I predicted. They've done the same thing with Mando, they've done the same thing with Ahsoka and Book of Boba Fett. The first trailer never feels the same as the second. So, how have fans reacted to this? Well, as you might expect, fans are just happy it's nothing like The Acolyte. Here are a few comments. I'm the most excited for Star Wars that I've been in a very long time. This is exactly what the franchise needs right now. Something that is simply fun, exciting, and full of imagination. This was terrible. Why is there modern real-life music in Star Wars? I've heard this opinion time and again. Same criticism with The Acolyte. I think it's excusable in this instance. They were going for the kind of upbeat synthwave, 80s kind of vibe. Here is someone acknowledging the solo Star Wars story feel to it. And of course, fans are very pumped for Neil. Share your thoughts in the comments down below, guys, of the new trailer. Tomorrow, I have a very different treat for you. It was meant to be today's video, but it's going to be tomorrow, so look out for that. If you've not done so, please be sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.